Can we please stand for the invocation and flag salute, please? Lord Heavenly Father, thank you for this beautiful night. Let this board make the best decisions for the citizens of Yukon and the city itself. In your precious name, amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Might be seated. Roll call.
Montgomery. Peters.
Here.
Puckett.
Here.
Lee. And Rather.
Present.
Item 1, discussion and approve the minutes of the regular traffic commission meetings, May 13, 2025. Everybody get a chance to look at that and everything?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second that.
Everyone in favor?
Aye.
Item 2, visitors. Do you wish to come up and tell us what's on your mind?
Hi, Lake and Castle 728 Villa in Westport. I had reached out to Mr. Puckett earlier this week about a problem that we kind of have along Westport Boulevard. We have a problem where the only road that residents of Westport and Stone Creek can use to get in is that Westport Boulevard off of Vanderbilt, which Mr. Puckett did a fantastic job of doing the overlay, and that helps you guys see where that area is. The road is a tight 2-lane road, and for some reason it is a blind spot when you turn in off of Vanderbilt, and I believe it's because whenever you turn in off Westport, it kind of slopes down, and we never noticed the grading problem until Variety Care was building and they had to make it flat, and you don't realize that it goes down, but it does, and I think that creates that blind spot. This makes it exceptionally dangerous if anyone is parked along the sides of that road on Westport. At various times, I've noticed that people park along the sides of Westport Boulevard. In case of some funerals, when parking at Yonda's full, people will park along there. Sometimes they park on both sides. Sometimes when solicitors are entering or leaving the neighborhood and they're trying to decide where to go next, they'll park on both sides of that road. And most recently and more frequently, since they started construction on the new Variety Care, we have I believe there are people probably doing construction, but there's a lot of them, and they do park along that side of the road. Due to the blind spot, you don't realize there's a car in your lane until you turn in. This happens even when someone is parked the legal distance from the intersection. It becomes a major issue when school is in and when buses turn in from eastbound Vanderbilt, only to realize they were blocked, but there's not enough room for the bus to get over. So if there were cars trying to exit, they couldn't go anywhere because now there's a bus angled in front of you who was unsuccessful at turning in. And the bus can't go anywhere because there's somebody parked, even the legal distance, which isn't that much, from the stop sign.
Sure.
But it's not enough for a school bus. And so everybody just kind of is deadlocked. Something else that complicates having to pass cars along this road is the amount of people turning on and off of that road. That Stone Creek entrance exit is right there. People coming off of Westport. There are the people using the counseling center, and then the people that are using that gym right there. So there's a lot of traffic going in and out, a lot of veins coming in and out of that road. That complicates things too. So I had wondered, due to the nature of the road being narrow, and there not being enough for really 3 cars, and also because of the people coming in and out, if it might be possible to get one of the signs, the no parking at any time, similar to the ones that are seen on Holly. There's not really much reason for people to park along this road. There's the gym that has its own parking that seems sufficient, and there's not really houses or anything. So I was just wondering if that might be a possibility, because it is very frustrating if you live in that neighborhood and you're just trying to come in and you kind of go.
I'm sure it
organic.
is.
Yeah, most definitely.
So, and Mr. Puckett did a fantastic job of putting my photos. You can't see at the back of that one, but there is a bus. All of those cars are parked in that top photo, and there is a bus trying to turn in, and he was unable to see that there's a car waiting his turn for the vehicles that were leaving. So he's already turned in, he's waiting his turn behind that guy that's parked at a legal distance, but now the bus is just kind of stuck there.
You think
So-
this is construction workers?
This particular thing is, but I have had a problem with this in the past, like I said, due to the solicitors coming in and out. I've noticed they'll be parked along, sometimes people just park alongside that road, and usually they're sitting in their car, and you have to go around them, but it does create a problem.
I've
So-
seen walkers around in is it the Stone neighborhood there with the pond, like walking around and
And we're not
coming back.
sure.
And I don't think they're residents. I know several
Yeah,
residents.
we're not
that live-
sure where they're from because I talked to Variety Care and I was like, hey, they're taking up a whole lane of traffic and we have to go around them, which is really dangerous. And I asked if they were from, not Variety Care, if they were from Vitality Mill. They're from Frisco Ridge? Okay.
Really, some of them are.
Because I know one of them.
But I had called the people at Vitality Mill and said, are these your walkers that are going? Because they're just walking
Yeah,
Yeah.
incorrectly with traffic, and they're not paying attention to us. They don't get over anything, and then we have to swerve. But it makes it dangerous because if you have to swerve around them, then there's that oncoming traffic.
But you're right. I mean, it's the only exit in and out. There's no sidewalks, so kids are riding bikes. There's walkers, and in that area is almost like a tunnel because of the cedar trees on both sides, really close to the roadway. So.
Yeah, and even now that it is interesting to see how many trees were removed from this overhead shot that has been taken. Now that Variety Care is going in there, there's really not even many trees left there until you go back to just that easement, I believe, that's behind Stone Creek. So it's not a tree obstruction. I think it's because when you come in, you do kind of go downhill.
I think that one tree, this is Google Maps view on the first page. I think that one tree that's on the east side, right behind the porta-john right there, is still there. I think there's a hackberry tree or something, but that's the only thing.
It's on the west side. So on that front page where all of that land is smoothed out, that's the Variety Care, and they took out the tree that was there.
Okay.
So that's actually on the west side. But it would seem that removing the trees hasn't fixed the turn-in blind spot. So I appreciate you guys looking into this, or
Yeah.
any consideration that you guys could give to it. Maybe you guys have better solutions or something, but I had wondered whenever I was driving along Holly and I saw the no parking anytime signs, that's what made me wonder if that was a
I don't
possibility.
think that's a bad suggestion, but I certainly don't know. I'm going to see what Mr. Adams thinks since Mr. Montgomery's not here to tell us.
Well, I don't see, just like you said, there's no sidewalks and it is a narrow street, so I think it's at you guys' liberty if that's what you choose.
I make a motion, we put no parking signs on that street like Holly. See, your logic convinced me.
Thank
You
you.
did such a great job.
Thank you.
Can
I-
can
Go ahead.
both of these pictures on the second page, those are both looking south towards Vandeman, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and it
Yep.
just so happened that after I had mentioned it to Mr. Puckett, it just happened that day, and so I took those pictures because I'm like, and I have no idea it's June, but I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a school bus. It's just like
I've
I was
got
talking
older
about.
members in there and they gripe about this. Like,
Do those cedar trees need to be trimmed back? I mean, is there an easy, because some of them are hanging over the road.
We'll take a look at those and get with the property
There
owner and see if
is
we can get
one, whenever you're turning out of Vitality Mill, that has vines growing through it for some reason that do hang down. So whenever you're pulling out of Vitality Mill going southbound, you can't see traffic either because the,
what are you saying by?
Vitality Mill, it's a
There's a
little
gym.
gym. in
there's a
there.
gym.
Oh, okay, okay.
Gym over on the west side of the road.
Along-
Vitality
yes.
Mill.
I got you, okay.
It's yeah, it's an
You
older
can tell I don't
building.
go to the gym or anything. I wouldn't even know what that is.
Well, I've used it once or twice.
Man after my
but-
own heart.
So in the motion, how far north do we are we talking all the way to the entrance into Stone Creek, or how far north would you guys like the no parking to be?
Anybody got an opinion?
I'd say, my opinion would be all the way to, past the addition to the, what's the addition to the right?
So there's
Stone
Stone
Creek.
Creek that goes
Stone
to the
Creek.
right, and then it curves there at the end into Westport.
Right, where's,
Going back to that curb.
is that where the
would be-
sidewalks start?
I think so.
Right around
I
to the
think
curb.
that's where it starts.
Ridge
And
Road.
that's an area that's dangerous to park too, because everybody has to do that curve at the
Right.
end.
So is that something, Arnold, we could have somebody go out there and take a look at that
Sure.
and see where the sidewalks
is
stop?
dangerous.
Yeah,
and
that
go
curb
from there.
is dangerous.
Because, you know, it
to
is
take.
summertime, kids are riding their bikes, people are flying through residential areas, and kids on the bikes don't have nowhere to go if they're on the street. So.
And I feel bad because there's some people that just kind of get hostage up in there. I mean, I'll stop.
You get stuck.
If I'm leaving the neighborhood, I'll stop and flash my
get it.
lights and let them know that they're clear to go and I see them. Otherwise, nobody really pays attention when they're
Well,
going out because they don't realize you're hung up, and I'm just upset about it,
You know,
so I just stop.
places and streets are being made every day, and you know, streets made 5-10 years ago, you know, the traffic builds up in that area, more people move in, and I do know that Arnold and the city does a great deal of looking and analyzing different situations and tries to look at the safety for the citizens and stuff like that. And he'll have somebody go out there and kind of look at that where the sidewalks stop and kind of make a decision and maybe get back with us on the next meeting or whatever. He made the motion, I second it. You know, if we can get something out there after you guys go out there and look at something.
Okay.
Is that, we all in agreement on that? You think? Okay.
Good.
And then have you, I got a question for you. With all the congestion going on out there, have you had a chance to call the police to have them come out there and take a look around? And,
I did.
Okay.
That was my first step, was calling the police department, and she wasn't sure if they had some permit to park there, but she told me that somebody would come by, and I did notice they had moved farther from
Yes,
the
ma'am.
stop sign.
Yes, ma'am.
But I don't want to call the police department every day.
right.
I totally agree with that. So I get it.
And
I work dispatch.
imagine-
I get it. I don't want to be the
Yeah.
lady that
Oh,
calls
I
in
get
every
it.
morning.
I get it.
It's that crazy lady
Sometimes
over
when,
Westport
you know,
again.
sometimes when you call the police, people get in their cars and they move them. You know what I mean?
I
That's
know.
the
I
great thing
try
about
not to
when the
be that
police start
lady. I
cruising
used to
around,
call
people
or I
start
used to take
moving
calls
cars
from that
around,
lady
you
all the
know?
time. So
Yeah, definitely.
it's a goal.
I imagine we could probably just talk to the foreman for that construction also. Can we just have another alternative parking location? It's only for a few months until they get that parking lot paved.
Yeah, and usually they're kind of able to park in there. It does become more of an issue when we've had rain, and we've had an abnormal amount of rain.
Yes, ma'am.
They don't like to park, especially if they have cars. They don't like to park on that dirt lot.
Yes, ma'am.
So.
Yeah, I'm sure that's true.
But yeah, it'd be great if they could park somewhere else.
Yes, ma'am.
It is kind of a hardship.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Any other visitors? No. Item number 3, discussion of traffic concerns.
None at this time.
Nothing for me.
Okay. Arnold, you got anything?
Well, I'd just like to update you. The county is working on Frisco Road. There's 2
Yes,
pipes
sir.
that need to be put in. I believe they have all the stabilization and everything, the base put down. They've installed the first pipe, which is actually in Yukon city limits. South of there is another one. They're working on it, and I think they should have that complete by the end of the week.
Great.
At first of next week, and then sometime thereafter they'll start putting the asphalt down. I don't know an exact date, but I would think in the near future.
Nice.
And then you probably have noticed the county is working on Wilshire from Richland. They're actually going all the way to Gregory. Our city limits only goes to Cimarron. They started that project yesterday. They stabilized it today, and they plan on having the asphalt down starting Saturday. So within 1 week, you're talking about tearing Wilshire up, or at least our section for a mile, stabilizing it, and putting the asphalt down in 1 week. That's amazing.
Sounds like a lot of work.
Those guys are. I went out there yesterday. You've only been working for 3 or 4 hours, and you have 2 miles chewed up here. They're getting it.
Yeah.
But they have some really nice brand new equipment, and they're really good crew. We really appreciate the help that county's doing all the work, and we're buying materials for our half. So we really appreciate that.
That's awesome.
County
Good.
helping with that.
Any traffic concerns, sir?
No, sir.
I have none myself. So, item 4, date for meeting next month, July 8th, 2025. This meeting's adjourned. So.